And now to a story that we first told you about back in March. That is when Terrence Lester of nonprofit Love Beyond Walls launched a special campaign amid COVID-19 to bring the basics of hand washing to those experiencing homelessness in Atlanta. Now, at the time, more than 2,000 of you praised this idea on our Facebook page, and since then, the mission has taken off, spreading far beyond the metro.
All at once, everyone all around the world was experiencing the pressure of the coronavirus. I came up with this idea to literally launch this campaign that would provide people experiencing homelessness access to the basic human right of soap and water. And so we started installing portable hand washing stations right here in the city of Atlanta.
For Terrence and his team, it turns out Atlanta was just the start.
We've spread to 17 cities in Alabama, in California, in Georgia, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey.
The Love Sinks In campaign traveling cross country, gaining community and corporate support, the installation of hundreds of sinks, improving access to basic hand washing, and inspiring hearts along the way.
I think it touched people's heart because not only were people living on the streets not having access to like a roof or somewhere stable to shelter in place, but on top of that, they didn't have access to soap and water.
A campaign launched amid a crisis, initiating a wave of compassion and new awareness.
This crisis has caused us to really see the lack of access and the disparity that many people face all around the country. And for this moment, we saw how we all needed each other.
Now, I spoke with Terrence as we got that update. Love Sinks In along the way has gained more than 25 partners in this initiative. And Terrence tells me that the latest partnership with AbbVie, that's going to actually allow the nonprofit to install more than 1,000 hand washing stations across the country.